Welcome, everybody. Welcome, fellow patriots. Welcome, fellow deplorables. Welcome, all you dregs of society, all you rock dwellers, sycophants, stinkos, bad people, all you hateful people who celebrate the president. You're criticized there, but you're always welcome here, and this is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos radio network, and my co-host today is the Patriot from the battle-born state, the Silver State of Nevada, and that is Sharron Angle. Sharron, welcome to Conservative Commandos.
Thank you so much, Rick. It's great to be with you. Also, it's great to catch up on the news. You know, I use our show to find out what's going on other than the COVID virus. Of course, it's
everywhere. It's
everywhere. Going on, right? Maybe we should call it the Wuhan virus or the China virus. I know I've been hearing that this politically correct is this COVID-19.
Yeah.
And maybe we should start calling it by what it is, which is the China virus.
The Wuhan virus, the Chinese virus, I'm for that. I'm for that. You know, there was a lot of news recently that the Chinese media, and I was surprised how big of an influence the Chinese had in the media in this country. They were the ones, the Chinese government were the ones through their media operatives were calling it, racist. You know, it's racist if you refer to this as the Chinese virus. Well, I don't think I'm a racist, but let's call it what it is. You know, okay, you had the Spanish flu. Well, this is the Chinese virus. You had the Ebola flu. Well, this is the Chinese flu. Let's call it what it is. It came from China.
Well, like they said, you know, when they had the the Spanish flu in 1918, that's where it originated. It's generally accepted that you name a virus after where it originates. And now we're trying to be politically correct. And I guess it's the connections now that I'm finding all over the place with China and our businesses, with China and our economy, with China and the folks that are trying to protect China, who are in our government. It all seems to be about protecting China, and that's the reason why they don't want us to call it the China flu or the Wuhan flu, or the Wuhan virus. So, you know, it's almost a cover-up. That's, you know, I don't mind calling it COVID-19, but I do mind covering up for someone who's guilty, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sharron, you know, Ebola was called the Ebola virus because its first known cases were on the banks of the Ebola River in Africa. Mm-hmm. Lyme's disease, that's carried by ticks, all right, that is because it was first found in Lymes, Connecticut. So, you know, where did this come from? Everybody knows it come from Wuhan. It's part of China. So let's call this the Wuhan virus. Let's call this the China virus. I mean, why not? It's simple.
It's simple. Well, another thing that seems to be simple is this trampling of our civil rights here. Yep. We do have a right in our First Amendment, the freedom to assemble. The freedom to assemble. And we've seen now that protesters are starting to assemble at their state capitals. They're trying to keep their social distance. They're trying to follow the guidelines, but they are assembling at their state capitals to protest what is a overreach of government, a takings of our civil rights. We've seen now lawsuits on from churches saying you can't prohibit us from gathering in our own parking lots and listening to our own radios to our pastor on Sunday. And especially, you know, we're parking our cars 6 feet apart. There's no violation here of what the culture is saying needs to be social distancing. We're observing safety, but we have the right to come together as a church. So we're seeing that kind of lawsuit. We've seen the Second Amendment lawsuits, many of them springing up because they have closed gun stores, businesses that they say are non-essential, but because they are essential to the exercise of our individual Second Amendment rights, there's a leg now to stand on and say you can't do that. Well, your governor, Phil Murphy, is now having people arrested because they're protesting his heavy hand. And the protesters are. It's interesting. I'm going to name this protester. I think she's a hero or he's a hero. I can't tell. Kim Pagan. It's one of those names that I'm not sure of, but Kim Pagan, who is of Toms River, was charged by the New Jersey State Police with violating the emergency orders by organizing a prohibited event in Trenton in which protesters gathered outside the State House and at other locations in Trenton to demonstrate against the governor's executive orders, authorities announced Friday in a press release. Mm-hmm. Murphy is enforcing a series of executive orders requiring his constituents to stay at home unless seeking medical attention or shopping for essential goods, among other allowances. Allowances. I mean, this guy has got some nerve. That, we're allowed now to be outside our home for certain reasons. This is, and people say, why are you getting so upset? Why are you getting so upset? You should, in fact, I read an article by a pastor saying you should follow the law of the land. But the problem is that the governors are not following the law of the land. When they're violating our constitutional rights, they are violating the law. Now, I don't see why I should be obedient to a lawbreaker. And that's, I'm a Christian and I read my Bible as much as other folks do about these ideas of submitting to ourselves to authority. But when my authority is a lawbreaker, do I need to submit to that? I just got through we've been watching a lot of movies, staying at home. And I just watched on YouTube The Real Story of Anne Frank, which actually takes her story from before the attic and then past the attic to her death. But I'm thinking about that and how her father submitted to the authority. He wore his yellow star. He turned himself in when they said all Jews must register. He was following the authority of the land. You're and right. Look where that got him. And look at some of the churches where that got them during that time as well. I'm thinking of Bonhoeffer, who said, I didn't protest when they rounded up all the nationals because I was not a nationalist. I didn't protest when they rounded up the socialists because I was not a socialist. I didn't protest when they rounded up the Jews because I was not a Jew. And when they came to get me, there was no one left to protest. Mm. So, it's that same situation. We're watching our civil rights being trampled upon by these governors, and now they're trying to quell the protesters. Even Facebook, I have to say, Facebook has now said that it's prohibited speech to organize a demonstration on Facebook. How about that?
Well, that's pretty good. Let's follow up on something you mentioned. Phil Murphy, governor of New Jersey, charging this woman who organized a protest in Trenton, a woman or man, we don't know Kim, if Kim is a man's name or a woman's name. But in this case, there was another incident in New Jersey where a guy was sitting on a beach all by himself, an empty beach. He was sitting there. He was arrested for sitting on a beach, for violating this order. And Sharron, doesn't it feel like what we hear about socialist countries today? Government telling you what you can and cannot do, where you can and cannot go. You go into the stores are empty. Instead of having choices, if you want to get something, you'll have one choice if you can get it at all. The shelves are empty. The shelves are bare, and I don't know why. No eggs in the store. Now, I don't know if the chickens are on strike or the people that pick up the eggs are on strike or who's on strike, but they can't find eggs in the store. If you can, they're twice. The price is twice of what they normally are. Does this sound like things that we've seen or heard about Venezuela or Cuba? Government tell you what you can and cannot do. You cannot buy what you want in the stores. You have no choice when you go into the stores of things you want. Maybe there's one item left on the shelf. Is this America?
Well, part of that is that we've talked to the stockers in our stores, and they say, yeah, come early because we get them in every day. The trucks arrive, we get them in every day, but they just fly off the shelves. So part of it is this fear that has been just promoted across the country, and I have to go once more to these governors. They've had to promote fear in order to get people to stay inside. They're so afraid. Yeah. But in promoting that fear, what it is also promoted is this hoarding. People think that I'm not going to be able to get it, so I'm going to get it. And it was an interesting thought. I said, but why toilet paper? And they said, because it's a commodity. You can trade it or barter it for something else that you want.
Very interesting.
So that was why they wanted the toilet paper, was because it was easily bartered for something else. So, we have this prep society, people who are preparing for the worst, and that's what they've been taught or learned to do, is that you gather up these commodities so that you can barter, because we're heading for the last days of our country. And so that's part of what's going on, is this hoarding and preparing for the worst. And it's this fear that people have of not being able to buy things. Just what you're suggesting, that we're going into some kind of socialism post haste, and we won't be able to get the things that we're used to getting.
Well, Sharron, toilet paper doesn't go as bad. There's always a need for it. And if you can trade it for a cup of sugar, why not? Hey, Sharron, let's take our first break, and then we can talk about our guests and what we've got scheduled for our show. And you are listening and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. Today's show, like all our shows, is being brought to you by the First Amendment, protected by the Second. Sharron and I will be right back.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know, when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day, and for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. And for rebroadcast, please check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. You can find our radio show there, our TV show there, and a lot of terrific articles, a lot of great videos, and other interesting information. Sharron, a couple of great guests joining us today.
That's right. We have our first guest is Tom Basile, who is the author, columnist, speaker, and commentator. He is a former Bush administration official and New York State Republican Party executive director and hosted Sunday in America on Sirius XM radio. He has a new book out, Sink In. Let it sink in. Let it sink in. The Decade of Obama and Trump, which provides a retrospective on the 2010s to help readers prepare to defend America and American freedom in the 2020s. We've asked him to come on and talk about an article he wrote, The Dems Will Leverage Pandemic to Delegitimize a Trump Win. Should be real interesting. We've got our second guest, Mark Walters, who is a national board member of Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, and a broadcast media spokesman for the Second Amendment Foundation. Mark Walters is a weekly national columnist for AmmoLand and the author of 3 books, and he's the host of 2 nationally syndicated talk radio programs, Armed America Radio and Armed America Radio Daily Defense, heard on hundreds of radio stations and across the country, also seen on the AUN TV network. And finally, we're going to have something fun today. We've asked some listeners, longtime listeners, to come on and talk about what concerns them. We've asked Anna and Bella and Tom to be our guests in the final segment of our show. So that will be fun for our listeners to tune in to.
Fun for us too. Fun for us too. Well, Sharron, you in the earlier segment you talked about Zuckerberg is saying that, well, I'm going to delete any post that talks about organizing a protest. Well, something very interesting when you talk about social media. Google and Facebook are going to try to come up with apps to keep track of you. And we're going to tell you if you've been exposed to the coronavirus. Sharron Angle, you can't walk down the street without being on video, somebody's video camera. Now there's going to be apps to track your movements and who you come in contact with. Sharron Angle, is this really the 1984 or is this 2020?
It's crazy. They want to do widespread contact tracing. Now, of course, they're saying, this is to flatten the curve of infection and to begin to consider reopening the society. They need to implement a comprehensive test and trace scheme. And it's a scheme, all right, Rick. I think that's probably the best word that they've used in this whole opening of this idea. Test and trace. You want to test people widely and thoroughly for the disease, and then they're going to track people that test positive and let you know if you're near one of those guys, so you can run like crazy. If your app starts pinging, you'll know that somebody that's tested positive to COVID-19 is in your vicinity. You better get out of the way. They say they're within a month of releasing this app for everybody. So they're not only are they going to watch us, Big Brother is going to watch us, they're going to get us to let them to sign up for the app that lets them watch us any place, every place. And I'm sure, it's going to be about you running a fever. They're going to have your body temp on that. This sounds like science fiction to me, where they trace. Well, you've seen those war movies where they've got their weapons that trace your body heat. Well, now they're going to have an app that traces your body heat, and they'll know exactly where you're at, what you're doing, who you're coming in contact with, and of course they'll make you aware if you should be very afraid or not.
Well, you should be very afraid of everybody and tracking you. Well, Sharron, there might be a little bit of good news coming ahead for people. This is a statement from U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. He issued the following statement after the Senate passed a unanimous consent, a roughly $480 billion bill meant to replenish the coronavirus relief fund. The Paycheck Protection Program was designated under the CARES Act, and Senator Cassidy says, and I'll quote him, "I'm glad that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi finally forced to put aside politics to help rescue small businesses, churches, and charities from bankruptcy. I regret that it took them so long to get to this point. However, this still needs to be passed by the House of Representatives." So maybe not yet, but
well, the problem with all of these bills is they're not single subject. This is not just dealing with helping small businesses. If it were, that would be one thing. But the problem is that they put everything but the kitchen sink into these bills, and we're getting a whole lot of payment for stuff that is non-essential as far as I'm concerned, and really doesn't help small businesses at all. It's these pet projects that they couldn't get funding any other way, so they put them on as a rider on these big bills that everybody agrees we have to help small businesses. Also, I don't get it, Rick. Why are people who are already getting a government check getting another government check? You know, guys on Social Security are getting a government check.
Well, Mary and I asked the same questions. You know, she's a retired teacher. She gets a pension. We're both on Social Security. I wouldn't mind this money going to somebody else who really needs it. My gosh, there's just so much fraud and abuse that goes along with all these bills. Sharron, you know, the last time they passed this, get this, Sharron, you talk about maybe people on Social Security shouldn't get this. Well, I don't know. After all, Congress rewarded themselves. They rewarded themselves with $93 million. In increased salary and expenses. And I figured it out, Sharron. It's about $174,000 for each one of them in increased salary and expenses. That's how Congress took care of themselves. Unreal. Sharron, we got to go to a break. We're running a little long here and got to get our guests on. So you are listening and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos radio network. On the other side, we're going to be joined by Tom Basile. Tom is an author, columnist, speaker, and commentator. He's also the author of a book, Let It Sink In, The Decade of Obama and Trump.
Attention homeowners. Do you have a house that's in need of serious repairs? Do you have tenants that never seem to make their monthly payments? How about code violations, past due taxes, or maintenance costs you just can't afford? Then call my friends right now at Quick Cash Offer. They specialize in buying any home, no matter how ugly the situation. Turn that problem property into cash right now. It's just that simple. One call and you can get rid of that home headache forever. They buy the ugliest houses with instant closings, instant cash, and huge savings. Plus, there are no realtor fees, no listing fees, and no repair costs. Just cash in your hands for that painful property. They're buying a few more houses in your neighborhood this month. So take advantage of this cash offer and call Quick Cash Offer now.
855-296-8854. 855-296-8854. That's 855-296-8854.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help. So please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from the Final Expense Insurance Hotline. The average funeral costs about $7,000, even more. And the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. That leaves your loved ones with a burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for your funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam and you'll have lifetime coverage. Plus, your rates will never increase and your plan cannot be canceled regardless of your medical condition, as long as you make your premium payments. Get free information right now. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 855-221-7334.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Once again, we want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. My co-host is Sharron Engel. I'm Rick Trader, and we want to give a shout out to folks who are listening to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., and also seen on the AUN television network in San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, Marin County, all the way up to Redding, California. And with that, Sharron, our first guest of the day is with us, and as you do with all our guests, please make him feel welcome.
Well, it's an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege for me to introduce Tom Basile, who is an author, columnist, speaker, and commentator. Tom is a former Bush administration official, a New York State Republican Party executive director, and hosted Sunday in America on Sirius XM radio. His new book, Let It Sink In, The Decade of Obama and Trump, provides a retrospective on the 2010s to help readers prepare to defend American freedom in the 2020s. Tom, hold up your book. Okay. And welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Well, thank you very much, both of you, for having me. I really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you both for what you do to help protect American freedom, and you do such a wonderful job. And wow, Rick, you've grown. It's grown. So, all those radio stations. I've done the show a number of times, and we continue to reach more and more people with the message. So thank you for what you're doing every day.
Thank you, Tom.
Now, Tom, I want to discuss an article that you wrote, Dems Will Leverage Pandemic to Delegitimize the Trump Win. But I also want to go back to your book, this new one, Let It Sink In, The Decade of Obama and Trump. And you say it provides a retrospective on the 2010s to help us in the 2020s defend American freedom. You know, this last couple of months, American freedom has been just dumped on its head. I feel like I've lost more of my civil rights in the last 2 months than I did in the previous 7 decades of my life, I guess. So I'm wondering, tell us how we can prepare for the 2020s with this. You know, this is like nothing I've ever seen before in my life.
Well, Sharon, nobody's ever seen it, and I think that that's an important perspective that people have to have. You know, you watch the lamestream left-wing media in collusion with the Democratic Party and the far left in this country, and they want you to think that it's all Trump's fault, and this all could have just sort of been kind of wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow. There is not a single person alive today that has been through a pandemic. There's nobody alive today who has had to put together, the way the president has, and I think he's done very successfully, of putting together an all-of-America approach to a public health crisis like this. What you've done, what you've seen the administration do over the last 2 months with the military, with FEMA, NIH, CDC, HHS, the public health officials at the state level, the governors, people on a bipartisan basis, and the deployment of resources, the cross communication. You know, we're not people. You know, I know the two of you, and we're not people who typically trust the government to put together a ham sandwich. Okay, but this response has been unlike anything that anybody's seen probably since World War II. And now the question becomes, well, what do we do with it? You know, where do we go from here? And one of the reasons why I've been so happy that Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci and the president and the commission have put together a reasonable, rational plan to start reopening the economy, and why I'm so glad that so many of our fellow citizens have raised their voices with respect to these governors who've done put some really ridiculous, nonsensical constraints on personal freedom during this time, and have abused the pandemic and abused the emergency for ideological purposes. I'm glad to see people raising their voices in a respectful way, and the administration talking about, okay, how do we move on from here in a responsible fashion?
Well, I see they've aroused the Tea Party movement. They said, is that dead? No, it's not dead. We went home. We got a job. We went into government. We are doing other things. And then all of a sudden they start taking away our rights in a really aggressive way, these Democrat governors. And, it was almost one day I lost my right to assemble, my right to freedom of religion, my right to freedom of speech on different venues. And they're so quick to take those rights, but so slow to restore them. I'm wondering, are we going to have it restored? Or are we going to see more and more protests just demanding the restoration of our rights?
Look, I think that we are, Sharon, and we have to remember, and it's very difficult when you're following the Twitter mob and the social media mob and the mainstream press, and a lot of what we face every day in terms of in terms of the reporting, and Hollywood. We have to remember, those people don't actually make up the majority in this country. Those people don't run America, and you're seeing Democrat governors like Whitmer in Michigan rightly called out. I mean, here's a governor who said, you can go and buy marijuana and alcohol, but you can't go buy a tomato plant. But you can't go out and walk in a park by yourself where you're not any threat to anybody else potentially. There's a lot of this really just nonsensical stuff. You can go and have your abortion. That's essential. But other things are not. I think that people are raising their voices. I think that they're going to demand an opening. It is a tightrope, though, Sharon and Rick. We're still learning about this virus. There are things we don't know. We've been given a lot of bad information by the World Health Organization and by the Chinese. We're still playing from a scientific standpoint. We're still playing catch up on the virus. So we have to do it in a responsible way. But you and I both, we both know what the Tea Party is about. Okay, and it's about common sense. That's always what it was about. It was about common sense approaches to ensuring that we have right-sized government, that we don't have Big Brother, and that we have and that we protect our freedom. And those people are still out there.
They still are. And, I've been really happy with the way that President Trump has suggested, recommended, asked us to lay down voluntarily some of our rights for the greater good. But he never did demand or mandate. And that's the difference with these state Democrats, the way that they have been reacting. Now, your article says that this is all designed to keep Trump from winning. How does he lose when we see this overreach of these governors? I'm thinking it's the governors and the Democrats who are ascribing to all of this mandating and demanding of laying down of civil rights that are more in line to lose their jobs than Trump.
Well, look, Andrew Cuomo today said something that I had to take. I did a double take. I said, "What is he talking about?" He's talking about tracking COVID positive people. I mean, really? Is that what we've gotten to? Look, one of the things that people should be very concerned about. You mentioned the upcoming election, and I talked about this in my Newsmax article last week, and that is that the left in this country is going to try to use the pandemic to fundamentally change the way that we conduct our elections in this country. And we have to be very, very careful about using the pandemic, using coronavirus to make changes in the way that we conduct and we protect the integrity of our elections. Expanding mail-in voting, universal mail-in voting, extending early voting, people being able to wear masks and head coverings and stuff like that during in polling places, rolling back voter ID laws, and then a little practice known as voter harvesting that our friends in California unfortunately know too well, which is a particularly heinous and corrupt practice. These are things that they want to try to advance over the next number of months, and obviously you're going to hear it at the federal level, but it needs to be implemented at a state level, and some of these governors who have new executive authority may try to do that. People need to be very, very cautious about those types of changes to our election system.
So as a writer, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. We have a lawsuit that's going forward right now in Nevada, will probably have to be decided. They are out now doing some judge shopping. So that this can be decided before the 18th of May when our ballots go out for absentee balloting, for mail-in balloting. And it's the Democrats have decided that they're going to use this lawsuit against our Secretary of State to advance every agenda that they have in voting, which comes right down to not comparing the signatures on the ballots. That they will be allowed to do ballot harvesting, as you mentioned, and a myriad of other things. So I would ask you to sound the alarm, write the article, make sure that people know that if this kind of a lawsuit is successful in Nevada, it's coming to a state near you with that precedent in mind.
Absolutely. And you know what, Sharron, we should make sure that people understand voter harvesting because that's kind of the silver bullet for the far left in this country. And voter harvesting...
I've just completed a documentary that actually goes into it, explains it in detail, and we'll be having that up on our new television network, AUN TV, here in short order. But we have to go to a break. We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, AM, FM 24/7. We've been talking with our guest, Tom Basile, about the Dems leveraging the pandemic to delegitimize Trump, and his new book, which is called Let It Sink In, The Decade of Obama and Trump. We'll be right back after this message.
Are you a veteran and are you a homeowner? Then think Streamline and maybe save yourself a few $100 every month on your mortgage. A VA Streamline Refinance. It's called a rate reduction loan because mortgage interest reduction is exactly what it does. It's just for veterans, and it lowers your mortgage rate so you can save on mortgage payments every month, every year. That's a lot of money saved. And it's so easy to qualify. You don't need pay stubs, a W-2, or bank statements. You don't need a home appraisal. It's fast and easy to apply. And mortgage interest rates are very low right now. So a VA Streamline Refinance makes it super easy and super affordable to take advantage of this opportunity and really cut your monthly mortgage payments. Veteran and homeowner? Call us to find out more. 888-893-7491. 888-893-7491.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Is your credit card debt driving you batty? We're going up! Just like your credit card fees and interest rates. To the top! With those sky-high payments! You can't forget about your debt! Always fear! The debt suckers are here!
Are your payments sucking the life out of you? Just one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your back. Consolidated Credit will lower your interest rates, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, and get you out of debt fast. Call Consolidated Credit and get your life back.
Call 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213. That's 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213.
When debt is a problem, Consolidated Credit is the solution.
Because debt sucks!
Attention Viagra and Cialis users. Are prescription drugstore prices too costly? Get 50 generic pills for only $99. That's right, 50 100 milligram generic Viagra for only $99. Our products have the same active ingredients as the brand name products. Money back guaranteed if you're 100% not satisfied. Get 50 generic pills for only $99. Order now and call the number on your screen. Have your credit card ready.
Sorry about that, Rick. He touched my hot button.
No. Well, Sharon, what I was going to do, if you guys didn't talk about that paragraph in the article, I was going to bring it back and say, Sharon, I'm surprised you didn't touch on this and go into that. But
yeah, I was going there next. And
all right. Well, let me do something, and then I'm going to bring you back in. Okay, Sharon?
Oh, no, I'm finished. I think you can continue on with your questions for Tom.
Okay. And Tom, it's Basile, right?
Basile, yes.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry
about that.
It's okay, Sharon. It's all right. No problem. I've been called much worse.
And we want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. And just as a reminder, please check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. Be sure to like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Tom Basile is joining us as our guest. He's an author, columnist, speaker, and commentator. His new book is Let It Sink In, The Decade of Obama and Trump. And Tom, hold that book up again. And
right.
Tom, I know you're a veteran, and as I like to do with all our veterans, I wanted to
I'm actually not a veteran.
Oh, okay.
I served as a civilian advisor to the coalition government in Baghdad in 2003 and 2004. I served alongside our men and women in uniform. Just want to correct that. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you for that, but thank you for your service to our country. I'm sure you did good work out there. You know, Tom, you and Sharron were talking about your article, Dems Will Leverage Pandemic to Delegitimize a Trump Win. And the question is, how does Trump lose? I'll tell you how. Voter fraud. I see voter fraud as a real problem here. And as you and Sharron were talking about, you know, their mantra is don't let a crisis go to waste. They're doing whatever they can to change the way our elections go. And you talk about it in your article, talking about going into the voting booth with masks on, early balloting, mail-in balloting, vote harvesting. My gosh, people have written books how voter fraud has swung elections in the past 10 years or so. I'm really concerned about it, Tom.
Yeah, look, and especially when they start talking about things like universal mail-in voting, who's going to ensure the integrity of those ballots? The Postal Workers Union? Is that what we're talking about? We're turning the integrity of our election system over to the Postal Workers Union? The fact of the matter is there is no infrastructure that is set up to ensure ballot security. Now, look, I've been around politics for 25 years. I have been involved in mail campaigns, and Sharron's run for office. Sharron understands that when it comes to political mail, interesting things happen in the Postal Service. Interesting things happen where things don't get delivered in time, or they get delivered 2 days later than they're supposed to get delivered, or things, mail pieces, don't get delivered at all. They just seem to get lost in the mail. So it's very, very, there's a lot of different things here that can be done, and it's going to happen at a state level. So, I don't know if you're watching Fox News, and you're paying attention to what's going on in Washington. Yes, Nancy Pelosi and those folks are going to be squawking about this, but the changes are going to happen at a state level. It's your state legislature that actually controls these things. So it's important for everybody listening out there to really pay attention to what's going on in your state with your governor and your state legislature to see if they're trying to put their thumb on the scale in any kind of way.
Tom, in your article, you talk about the Democrats and their lack of confidence in Biden's candidacy.
Yeah.
And the need for an excuse for a Trump victory, a possible Trump victory. Well, I think there's two things that we have to talk about. One is another impeachment coming down the pike if they should somehow hold the House of Representatives. And also, I'm not real confident that Joe Biden is going to be the candidate. I've seen, and we've got examples out there of Democrats switching candidates when their candidate is on a losing track. Thomas Eagleton, Torricelli, New Jersey, was a senator, was a month before the election behind in the polls. The Democrats pulled him out and replaced him with old Frank Lautenberg, and Lautenberg went in for another 20-year nap. There's proof there that this is what Democrats do. They'll change their candidate rather than lose.
Well, Rick, they showed in 2016 that they'll put their thumb on the scale. They will try to fix their own process, and they will disenfranchise millions of their own voters for the sake of whatever the Democratic National Committee decides they want to do. And that's what happened with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, and we know that. We also know that they are willing to use whatever levers of power and control that they have, and that's why we had the Russia collusion hoax, and that's why we had FISA abuse. And we had Loretta Lynch, getting on board doing a meeting on a tarmac with former President Clinton, and we've had, we all of these people in the Obama administration who were involved in what became what I believe was an appalling illegal investigation into a political rival of the sitting party. That's the type of stuff that should scare the heck out of every American who is watching and listening, and it's real.
Well, Tom, I think one thing that may be an advantage to Donald Trump in this next election is two things you mentioned in your article. One, that there's a concern that Bernie Sanders supporters will stay home, and the other, talking about Biden, his campaign also now embraces the AOC-supported New Green Deal, sanctuary cities, decriminalizing legal border crossings. And so what I'm looking at, Tom, wow, black and white here as far as the Trump campaign, as far as any potential Bernie Sanders campaign. It shouldn't be hard to choose who you want to vote for. The distinction is, I mean, there's this huge gap between Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Yeah, Rick, you're right, and there's a big enthusiasm deficit between Democrats and Republicans, and that certainly bodes well for the president. The president does, and let's be honest here, let's be fair here, in certain swing states, in the suburbs, which are really key to winning those swing states, the president has some problems. And he has a likability deficit, where even people who say that they approve of his policies oftentimes don't like the way he goes about doing them. And that form over substance argument is powerful for certain voters. So the president does have work to do, but he is running against a guy who he's running as an outsider again. He's running against a guy who's been in Washington for 50 years. And he's not the Joe Biden, both in terms of his mental acuity we've seen, unfortunately, but he's not the Joe Biden that we remember, who was the moderate Democrat. And the Trump people haven't even started telling people all the things that you just mentioned. I mean, Joe Biden now supports taxpayer-funded abortion. He never supported that before. He supports the Green New Deal and sanctuary cities, all those things. And he is making an outreach. He's extending an olive branch to the Elizabeth Warren and the Bernie Sanders supporters. But there isn't a lot of enthusiasm for him there. So it is a weakened candidacy. And I don't put anything past Pelosi and Schumer to start thinking about what their message arc is, because they did that in 2016, and I think that they will try and do it again.
Well, also in your article, you talk about the Hunter Biden problem, and I think Joe has the answer for that. And, Tom, when you talk about people who might agree with Trump's policies, but maybe don't like him so much as a person, I want to use myself as an example. When Chris Christie was running for governor against John Corzine, let me tell you something. I cannot stand Chris Christie personally. I think he's rhino from day one, okay? I went in and literally held my nose when I pulled that lever for him, but I still saw him as much better than John Corzine. I hope the rest of America look at this and say, maybe I don't like his tweets, but if somebody's going to pull us out of this mess, if somebody has the economic policies to right America again, it's Donald Trump.
Yeah. And look, again, that outsider argument is going to be, I think, pretty powerful for a lot of independent voters. I mean, here you've got Joe Biden, who's been in Washington for 50 years. He was Obama's vice president. Yeah. And now all of a sudden he's telling you that he's going to solve problems, that he's going to fix things. Well, where have you been? And he also has Obama's record, the Iran deal, placating Russia, placating China, all the things that happened from a foreign policy standpoint during the Obama administration is going to be hung around his neck. The failure of Obamacare, the lies associated with Obamacare, I talk a lot about that in my book, which was one of the biggest cons on the American people in history was Obamacare. And he was one of the people who stood there and lied to the American people dozens of times about how he was going to make their health care more affordable. So I think that it's a burdened campaign. The president certainly needs to work on those independents and those suburban communities and those swing states. But right now, I think he's doing the best thing that he can be doing, and that is being the commander-in-chief and putting together this really unprecedented whole-of-America response to the pandemic.
Tom Basile, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Conservative Commanders radio show. Hold up that book again. Let it sink in.
Get it on Amazon.
Obama and Trump can get it on Amazon. But Tom, please tell our listeners and viewers how to follow you, how to read your articles, and keep track of what you're up to.
Well, thank you very much. It's tombasile.com, on Twitter at Tom_Basile. That's Basile. You can find my book on Amazon, and my columns typically run on foxnews.com and newsmax.com.
Tom Basile, again, thank you so much for joining us. Take care and God bless.
Thank you.
And you are listening and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. On the other side, we're going to have Second Amendment rights expert join us. He is Mark Walters, and he's going to be talking about The gun group he represents, the Second Amendment Foundation, actually went to court and sued a Georgia county to restore gun rights in Georgia. Don't go away. We'll be right back with our next guest.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America, and get this. Did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And once again, we want to welcome you back to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. And for rebroadcast, please check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. And don't forget to like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And with that, Sharron, we do have our next guest with us. And as you do with all our guests, all the time, please make them feel welcome.
Well, it's an honor and a pleasure to introduce Mark Walters, who's a national board member of Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms and a broadcast media spokesman for the Second Amendment Foundation. Mark is a weekly national columnist for AmmoLand, and Mark is the host of 2 nationally syndicated talk radio programs, Armed American Radio and Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, heard on hundreds of radio stations across the country and seen on the AUN TV network. Mark, welcome to Conservative Commandos radio show.
It is a pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it very much.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you. And we want to talk to you about this gun group sues Georgia County, judge asserting deprivation of rights. We knew, at least I knew, the minute that my mayor started asserting her power here, demanding that the closure of businesses, demanding that we give up our civil rights, that there were going to be lawsuits in the offing. At least I was hoping for that, because we can't just stand by and let government trample our civil rights, and especially those in the Bill of Rights. Those are individual rights that they're guaranteed to the individual. And you have an individual who has filed suit, Lisa Walters. Is she related to you, Mark? This sounds like something that maybe you are a part of as well.
Coincidentally, that name sounds familiar, doesn't it? It rings a similar bell. Yeah, that the plaintiff in the suit is my wife, Lisa Walters. So let me give you a little bit of background here as to what happened. My wife's permit expired back on January 21st. And as I've said for many years, I don't force my wife, and I wouldn't force you or anybody to carry a firearm against their will. If you don't want to carry a gun, don't carry a gun. In this particular case, my wife had her permit for a number of years, and quite honestly, it was an overlook. We overlooked it and decided we were within the period to renew it. We could have renewed it for about $35, somewhere around that area. And my wife said, look, I don't really carry the gun that much. I carry it in the car with me. When I'm with you, you always have at least one gun on you. So I feel pretty safe. I can keep it in the car without a weapons license. Why spend the money? I'm okay if you are. I said, if you're not comfortable carrying the firearm, that's fine with me. Well, that all changed over the last 5 or 6 weeks. What if something happened to me during this very bizarre time that we're going through? We're locked down. My wife is a cancer survivor. She survived breast cancer in 2017 with a diagnosis in October. Did many went the rounds of chemo and did the surgeries. And her immune system is down. I'm the one out running around right now. I don't want her out that much right now. God forbid she were to come down with something. So nonetheless, we decided, let's go ahead and get your permit. So she asked me to make the phone call to the probate court. Now, interestingly, in the state of Georgia, the lawsuit, if you notice, sues Governor Kemp, the head of the Georgia Department of Public Safety, Mr. Vowell. It also sues Cherokee County, and it also sues the probate court judge, Keith Wood, in Cherokee County. Why? Well, in order to beg for your permit in the state of Georgia, you have to go to the probate court to get your permit. Now, in Georgia, this is a gun-friendly state, guys. Governor Kemp ran arguably one of the most pro-gun gubernatorial campaigns in American history. He had a gun in virtually all of his ads. He was accused by the left of threatening his daughter's boyfriend with a shotgun because he was talking to him with a shotgun in his lap and so forth. Governor Kemp it's disappointing that we had to name him, but he's the state's chief law enforcement officer. As a result of that, I contacted the probate court, and I said, I guess in these goofy times I'm going to have to set up an appointment for my wife to come down to get her permit. Now, in the state of Georgia, you don't require any training, etc. You simply go and pay your government fee. You bend on your knee. You give the government your money. They take your fingerprints, take your photograph, and 10 days later, essentially, you've got your permit in the mail. And it's also known as a Georgia weapons license here in this state. When I was told by the clerk, I'm sorry, she can't do that. We're not accepting any more applications. If your permit is in the renewal, it's good until the state of emergency is over, and then we're extending the 30-day window. I said, well, it's not. We need a new one. They said, I'm sorry. Basically, they said, you're just crap out of luck. At which point we decided, and we knew then, that this was going to be statewide, not just in this court. But interestingly, Judge Wood is signing marriage licenses, and the office is open for business, just not gun permits. So we're going to sue this through to its completion as far as we have to go. And I want to remind listeners, viewers again, that this is a gun-friendly state. This is not the usual suspect of Murphy in New Jersey or, Cuomo in New York or, Newsom in California or any of the other regular usual suspects. This is a gun-friendly place. So it happens everywhere, and we aim to put a stop to it.
So this is just stunning. Why in Georgia would you close down? I mean, it's obvious that the lawsuits that are coming out of other states now are saying this is an individual right to keep and bear arms. This is Second Amendment stuff. This is as wrong as telling a church they cannot meet, as telling a person he has no longer his right to free speech. These are individual rights constitutionally. So these guys have to know that. Why in Georgia, where you say this is a gun-friendly state? Why Georgia? I am really stunned.
Well, what this has done, as I said, Kemp didn't. All Governor Kemp did was issue a state of emergency. The Chief Justice Harold Milton of the Georgia State Supreme Court followed that up the next day on March 14th. Governor Kemp issued the state of emergency on March 13th. The Chief Justice of the Georgia Supreme Court, Melton, I believe his name is, forgive me. It's been a long day. But he issued a judicial declaration of emergency the following day that applied to all courts. And he left the courts open basically for 3 pieces of business. I believe it was bond hearings, arrest warrants, and domestic violence injunctions, which all should be. That should all be. We have no problem with that whatsoever. But that basically put into the probate courts, the probate court's attorney, state attorney for the probate courts, essentially told us and Georgia Carry that they were shutting down new licensing. If your renewal was in place, apparently, and I still haven't got this officially on the record from them yet because they refused to comment to me and to others about the case now. But the goal was that they were going to extend those for the additional 30 days. And I know people who have fallen into that renewal period that it was. But to answer your question, what this has exposed is a flaw or a nuance in the permitting procedure in the state of Georgia that I believe was overlooked. GeorgiaCarry.org has been working tirelessly in the state of Georgia for years to fix the problems and to advance our right to keep and bear arms here in this very free state, very red state of Georgia, bar a few counties around Atlanta and some pockets down around Savannah and Macon. But that being said, we've done a really good job. This exposed it. Now, here's the answer to all of this. The Second Amendment is my carry permit. Constitutional carry puts an end to this. We would never, my wife and two others from Georgia Carry, by the way, in different counties, would not have to be suing to put an end to this deprivation, as we call it, of our right to keep and bear arms by the courts, even if it is just a nuance in law. Now, coincidentally, or I should say not say coincidentally, well, it is coincidentally, we did ask the governor prior to the suit to stop enforcing the permitting requirements during his state of emergency. The governor's response to GeorgiaCarry.org, I want to give them more credit where it is due. It was their office that reached out. The governor's office says, well, we're looking at it. That was 4 weeks ago, and they're still looking at it, and nothing has been done. So this was our response. I didn't want to push any longer. Our case is very, very clean and very clear cut. You're depriving my wife of her right to bear arms. She cannot carry the guns that she currently owns. This has nothing to do with us renewing a permit because we can carry it in the car. She now wants to be able to carry it outside of her vehicle to places she has a lawful right to be in the state. And one more nuance in the state law here in Georgia. This is not a gold open carry state is what that's referred to. In the state of Georgia, in order to openly carry your sidearm, you have to have that Georgia weapons license on your person. So you can't carry a gun anyway outside your vehicle without that weapons license. Now, the trick here is if it were a gold open carry state and a permit were not required to openly carry, we would have no case because she could carry just openly. So that's another nuance in the law. Our aim is to get rid of this permit scheme. The permit scheme put in place in 1987 by Florida has outlived its usefulness. It was great for the 30 years it was in place, 30 plus years. It's outlived its usefulness. This state and all states should be constitutional carry states, recognizing the Second Amendment as the right to keep and bear arms, period. And that's part of what we're attempting to do, our part here in this state.
Well, and there is a state that has that constitutional carry.
16 of them.
It's 16 now.
16 of them,
and
yes.
every state should go to that, and hopefully your case will be the one that spurs that on. We do have to go to a break. We've been talking with our guest Mark Walters about a case in Georgia supporting the Second Amendment and constitutional carry in the states. We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Net Talk America, and AM/FM 24/7. I'm Sharron Engel here with my co-host Rick Trader, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? it's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day, and for as little as $1.99 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
We want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. And we love to give shout outs to folks who are listening to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and also seen on the AUN television network. Our guest is Mark Walters. Mark is the host of two nationally syndicated radio programs, Armed America Radio and Armed America Radio's Daily Digest. His show is also seen on the AUN television network. Mark, thank you for holding through that break. We appreciate your time.
Sure. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Mark, you and Sharron were talking about your gun group suing Georgia County to enforce gun rights. And you were talking about your governor, Governor Kemp. Well, your groups have also been very influential in straightening out another couple of governors, that Phil Murphy and that Tom Wolf.
Yes.
I want to get your reaction to an interview that I saw of Governor Phil Murphy on the Tucker Carlson show. And Tucker was asking him about suspending gun rights and gun approvals and background checks in the state of New Jersey during this. And Tucker asked him a very important question. Governor, well, what about constitutional rights, Second Amendment rights? Aren't they infringing upon them? His answer had me scratching my head. He didn't think about it. He didn't think about violating the Constitution or constitutional rights. This is a governor that's sworn in to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States. Didn't think about it, Mark.
Well, let's go there for a second because I want to add a little bit to that. Very funny. I generally don't. Angry Mark comes out all day when I do my prep for my show all day. I try not to watch that stuff in the evening. I try to take a break from it because I'm angry all day. I don't want to get angry all night, right? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know what made me watch Tucker that night, but I did. I flipped it on at the exact moment that conversation that you referenced was occurring. And Murphy's response originally was, he said he wasn't thinking about the Constitution, but when Tucker asked him about the Bill of Rights, calmly and coolly as Tucker does, he said, when he was referring to the Bill of Rights, he said, well, that's above my pay grade. And I thought to myself, you're a sitting governor who took an oath to swear to uphold the Constitution, and you're a sitting governor who tells me it's above your pay grade. Here's what needs to happen in New Jersey. He needs to go. And I say that seriously. You need to go. You're a tyrant. And I know because it's the organization that is supporting my wife's lawsuit. the Firearms Policy Coalition, the Second Amendment Foundation, in conjunction with NJ2AS, New Jersey Second Amendment Society, and Alejandro Rubian, who's doing amazing work up there, as a member of the press, asking the governor the hard questions in the press conferences until the governor got sick of him and had him thrown out by armed guards.
Wow.
Had him chucked out. Because Alexander puts him on the spot and says, Mr. Governor, thank you for taking my question. I don't know how he stays as calm and cool and collected as he does. I couldn't do it because I know the guy's a tyrant. But Alexander does. He's got it in him. It's in his genes. And he'll make the comments. He'll say, look, you're violating our Second Amendment rights and our freedoms. We can't go to gun shops now. What do you want to say about that? He says, well, I want to say that as far as it comes to guns, that the individual sitting to my right, meaning the head law enforcement officer of the state police, is the only one who should have guns, and he does, and he's very well trained. He goes, and look, I support the Second Amendment. Alexander said, of course you do. You're standing here surrounded by your own armed guards, but the rest of us can't. He was thrown out. The next day, he was not thrown out. He was locked out. And his press pass removed by the governor because the governor was sick and tired of answering those questions. Murphy is nothing short of a tyrant, and he ought to be thrown out, and he ought to be thrown out on words I can't use on this program. He should be gone. And for the people of New Jersey who continue to put these people in office, I don't have much sympathy for you because I know a lot of them are also looking for firearms to defend themselves now, and all of a sudden realizing that they've been sold a bill of goods, Rick and Sharron, as you well know. What do you mean I can't buy a gun online? What do you mean I got to wait 10 days? I have to? They're calling other gun shops in states across the country right now. That's how we know it's happening, wanting to know why they can't get a gun shipped to them. I mean, Every Town for Gun Safety and Dick Durbin and all these other lunatics have all said that buying a gun is easier than buying a ham sandwich at a sub shop. And all of a sudden they're finding out it's a lie. So there you go.
Mark, you touched on something, and I wanted you to expand on it a little bit. Gun sales during this coronavirus.
Yeah.
I thought Barack Obama was one of the greatest gun salesmen there, and he was great. But from what I understand, the coronavirus is also a great gun seller.
3.5 million background checks performed in March. It's broken every record in history. Now, keep in mind, that's really a barometer. Excuse me, it's just a gauge, because you can buy more than one gun at a time on that background check. So we really don't know, but it's the best gauge that we have. More background checks, 4473 background check forms filled out than any other time in history. That's including after Newtown, Parkland, Virginia, combined. Combine them all. More than ever before. So what we know for a fact is there are a lot of people out there who have maybe been sitting on the fence and decided, you know what? During a time of crisis, I want to be able to defend my family if somebody should want to come after my stuff and me.
Yeah.
Well, we welcome them. We welcome them.
Mark, I posted something up on Facebook about protecting oneself.
Yeah.
And someone called me white trash.
Yeah.
They says, are you carrying around your gun and your Confederate flag, white trash?
Right.
To which I put, okay, well, call me what you want. But I know that if someone tries to break in my house, the police will not get there in time to protect me and my wife.
Nor do they have an obligation to do so.
And that when I go to the door, if there's somebody who I do not know, I make sure I know where my 45 is at all times.
Of course.
And I says, well, if you really think I'm a bad person, why don't you post, and if you don't have protection, why don't you post your name and address here? So you're not far from New York City, and there's a crime surge going on in New York City. You live in Connecticut, which is just across the border. You want to post your name and address here?
Or just put a no gun sign. Just put a sign up in your front yard that says this is a no gun home. This home is gun free. Look, people like that have every right not to carry a gun. I couldn't care less if that individual doesn't want to carry a gun. That individual doesn't have a right to tell me, or I guess he does have a right to tell me I'm stupid if he wants to. Good for him. And you know what? I pray that individual never finds himself in the situation that I found myself on in November 18th, 2002, when I had to pull my gun on two miscreants in the streets of Tampa, Florida. Never had to fire a shot, but I went home alive that day. My 2-week-old daughter is going to turn 18 in November. God bless her. She's helping me fulfill book sales right now, and I love her to death. She was 2 weeks at the time. My son, who will be 16 years old on September 30th, would subsequently be born. And my wife, whose case bears her name against the governor, isn't a young widow at this stage of her life. Her birthday was just 2 days ago on April 19th because I had a gun that day. And as you guys know, and I never had to pull the trigger. So I became one of those statistics that 95% of the time never have to pull the trigger, because it's amazing how Mr. Glock did his job just by being visible and on the scene that day. Right. And, I used to say that a criminal, if they ever decided to pick on me, had a 50-50 shot of running into an armed victim because I never carried my gun all the time. I do now. Now it's 100% of the time. I've written books about it. I talk about it for a living, and I fight courts.
We got to run, but let's sell a few books.
Yeah,
let's get some people listening to your radio show and watching your TV show. And please tell our audience how they could buy your books.
Sure.
Keep track of what you're doing on TV and on radio and reading your columns.
Facebook.com/Armed American Radio for all stuff social media and to watch us do the program on Sunday nights live and to see Rob Pincus and I do some work every day at about noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We do a 2A shot of the day where we give you about 20 to 30 minutes of fun conversation and interact with you on Facebook. ArmedAmericanRadio.com for everything about the show and where to listen. And my newest book is an awful lot of fun. We sold a ton of them just yesterday. Use the promo code AARPREM. at armedamericanradio.com. Just click on Shop Now, click on the book, add it to the cart, use that promo code, AARPREM, because we're going to reduce $6.95 off the book, and I'm going to pay the shipping for you. It will sign directly personally to you and go out the day you order it, and that's Grilling While Armed, where we pair great barbecue recipes with a great sidearm to wear on your hip. Let the liberals prepare food and tell you about wines that you can't pronounce. We pair barbecue with a firearm while you smoke up the hood. Grilling While Armed, 20 great recipes, and you'll learn a lot about cooking and great firearms and barbecue, and you can have some fun doing it.
All right, Mark. We also appreciate the fact that you are now part of AUN TV and our newest show. And we're very proud of you. Mark Walters, thank you so much for joining us. Take care and God bless.
Thank you, guys.
And you are listening to and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. And we're going on the other side. We're going to do something that we'd like to do from time to time, and that's get some of our listeners and viewers on and find out what they're thinking hot on their radar screens. Don't go away. Sharron and I will be right back.
Attention homeowners, do you have a house that's in need of serious repairs? Do you have tenants that never seem to make their monthly payments? How about code violations, past due taxes, or maintenance costs you just can't afford? Then call my friends right now with Quick Cash Offer. They specialize in buying any home, no matter how ugly the situation. Turn that problem property into cash right now. It's just that simple. One call and you can get rid of that home headache forever. They buy the ugliest houses with instant closings, instant cash, and huge savings. Plus, there are no realtor fees, no listing fees, and no repair costs. Just cash in your hands for that painful property. They're buying a few more houses in your neighborhood this month. So take advantage of this cash offer and call Quick Cash Offer now.
855-296-8854. 855-296-8854. That's 855-296-8854.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help. So please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from the Final Expense Insurance Hotline. The average funeral costs about $7,000, even more. And the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. That leaves your loved ones with a burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for your funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam and you'll have lifetime coverage. Plus, your rates will never increase and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical condition, as long as you make your premium payments. Get free information right now. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 855-221-7334.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. And as a reminder for rebroadcast of our show, check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. And Sharron, you know, from time to time, I'd like to hear what our listeners are thinking about and talking about. And I thought I'd invite a few of them on the show today. And the first one is Ann. And Ann is a little worried that some people still don't think this virus is like the ordinary flu. And welcome to Conservative Commandos.
Yes. Hi, Rick. How are you today? Thanks for having me on. And actually, I'm worried that people think it's still like the flu.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Well, that's why we invited you on, for you to straighten me out. And, you know, and I'll be honest with you, I think this is very much like the flu, except this might be a flu on steroids, and this might not be a flu that they were prepared for. In other words, in most years, they can predict what flu is going to hit us in the flu season, and we go through this flu season every year, and they're able to prepare for it. They're able to prepare vaccines and whatnot, and about 50% of the population get this vaccine to ward off the flu, but this year is different because this one came, I think it came out of a laboratory in China, and they weren't prepared. What say you?
I say it's not influenza. Flu is influenza. This is a coronavirus. Mm-hmm. A coronavirus is like it's SARS is what it is. It's SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that creates the COVID-19 disease. It's not influenza at all. And our population of the United States and the world have never seen it before, so there's zero immunity in our population, and there's no vaccine. Mm-hmm. So unlike influenza, the flu, which has been in our population for 100 years, there is a certain amount of immunity in the population, and we also vaccinate 45% of our population. So they're very different. And also, I would go a little further because I would say that this virus, COVID-19, is also very, very contagious. It's a much more efficient virus at spreading. Mm-hmm. And also, it's a little bit harsher. It's a little harsher of a disease when you have it and it's severe, and when it kills. I think it's a much harsher disease to go through, and the recovery is longer. So there's a lot of things there that people aren't. So when people, it just worries me when people say, "Oh, it's just the flu." Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of differences. It just bothers me that they're not aware. I'm okay that people want to go back to work. I get that people want to go back to work. I want everybody to go back to work because I don't want to live in a world where we have no food.
Well, and let me ask you this. Every year we go through this flu and virus season, and you know what? When you got a fever of 103, 104, and you feel like dying. I mean, you really feel terrible and you feel like dying. But last year, we had over 61,000 people die from the flu. The year before that, we had 78,000 people die of the flu before. There were no shutdowns. There were no closures. No one lost their job. No one was put out of work by government. So why should this year be any worse? I mean, for instance, I think it was Sunday I heard that 2 million people worldwide got the flu. Well, last year in the United States, 43 million people got it. The year before, 49 million people got it, compared to 2 million worldwide. You see what I'm saying, Ann? I think this is...
Can I answer?
I think, absolutely. But when I finish, I think when... this is serious. I'm not saying it's serious, but is this any more serious than in past years?
I think it is, because for one, you're talking first off, I just want to say this. The CDC does not track adult influenza, okay? It does not. They don't test to see if it's influenza and then track to see for the deaths. So they use some kind of formula based on some data that they get from some clinics that have influenza-like symptoms. So if you're talking about not trusting data about influenza, then I would say that's the data you shouldn't trust, because, for one, they don't even really track it. They track it in children now, and they do track it in children, and 80% of the children that die of influenza have not been vaccinated, just so you know. So there's that. I would say. So, but the other thing is that, you're talking apples and oranges, because in the last 4 weeks alone in the United States, we've lost over 40,000 people. And people say, oh, it's been 7 weeks, it's been 8 weeks. No, it's been 4 weeks. On March 18th, we had 116 deaths in the United States. Okay, so in 4 weeks, we've lost over 40,000 people. We're not done yet. I haven't looked what it is today, but it's over 40,000. So, and that's just in our country, okay?
Right.
We're just
Hey, and we only have a couple of minutes left, and I want to bring Sharron Angle into this conversation. So, Sharron, I'm saying this is much the same as we've had in years past. Ann is saying that she thinks that this is something different. You are the deciding juror, and Sharron Angle.
Oh, well, thanks for that. Because of my medical degree, I'm sure that's why you put me on this spot. And I'm joking. I don't have a medical degree, but I have been talking to a lot of medical people about this. And what's different, and you're right, it's different, is that it's not pneumonia. It's not something that they can see as pneumonia, and that's why they're having some difficulty even prescribing for it and diagnosing it, because it kind of looks like pneumonia in an x-ray, but that's not what it is. We're having difficulty absorbing our oxygen. When you have this virus, it blocks it some way, and that's why they're finding some good effect with steroid treatment, the Z-Pak, and also zinc. So these ventilators have almost been the wrong prescription, because that assumes that you need help breathing, not help getting your oxygen levels up. So I'm going to say you're right, Ann. This isn't the flu.
Wait a minute, I want to recount.
It's different. It's different than the flu. It acts different, and that's why we're having a difficult time diagnosing it. But I'm also going to agree with you, Ann, that we need to get back to work, and there is a group of people that are more vulnerable than others, and perhaps those are the ones that should be thinking about quarantining themselves, staying away from crowds, doing the things that we've been told to do. There are also a lot that have had this that no one recognized that that's what it was when they had it. So I'm thinking that we're going to see a little bit different outcomes just when we sort through it all, but I think we need to get back to work.
And I'll give you the last 30 seconds.
Okay, well, then what I want to say is that, yes, that is true, what you said about quarantining older people, but it's not quite that simple, because there's a lot of grandparents who help with their grandchildren. There's a lot of multi-generational households. There's a lot of people that are older that are still working with underlying conditions. There are a lot of moms with underlying conditions. There's a lot of kids with underlying conditions. So it's actually a little more complicated than just, keeping the nursing home people where the nursing home people are. So,
all right, and I believe in isolation. In fact, please, if any one of you out there is sick, even if you have the sniffles, stay away from me. I hate to be sick.
Right.
I can
but
imagine.
People don't always know when they're sick.
And we want to thank you so much for joining us here in Conservative Commandos. Hey, Ann, be healthy, will you?
Thank you so much for having me, Rick. I enjoyed it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you are listening
to
and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. We're going to be back with another listener right after this break.
Are you a veteran and are you a homeowner? Then think Streamline and maybe save yourself a few $100s every month on your mortgage. A VA Streamline refinance. It's called a rate reduction loan because mortgage interest reduction is exactly what it does. It's just for veterans and it lowers your mortgage rate so you can save on mortgage payments every month, every year. That's a lot of money saved. And it's so easy to qualify. You don't need pay stubs, a W-2, or bank statements. You don't need a home appraisal. It's fast and easy to apply. And mortgage interest rates are very low right now. So a VA Streamline refinance makes it super easy and super affordable to take advantage of this opportunity and really cut your monthly mortgage payments. Veteran and homeowner? Call us to find out more. 888-893-7491. 888-893-7491.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
With 65 offices, you can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services to help demonstrate your idea. InventHelp's exclusive databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas, like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
InventHelp. Call today for free information.
800-880-2937. That's 800-880-2937 now.
Is your credit card debt driving you batty? We're going up! Just like your credit card fees and interest rates. To the top! With those sky-high payments! You can't forget about your debt! Always fear! The debt suckers are here! Are your payments sucking the life out of you? Just one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your back. Consolidated Credit will lower your interest rates, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, and get you out of debt fast. Call Consolidated Credit and get your life back.
Call 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213. That's 1-800-201-8213. 1-800-201-8213.
When debt is a problem, Consolidated Credit is the solution. Because debt sucks!
Attention Viagra and Cialis users. Are prescription drugstore prices too costly? Get 50 generic pills for only $99. That's right, 50 100 milligram generic Viagra for only $99. Our products have the same active ingredients as the brand name products. Money back guaranteed if you're 100% not satisfied. Get 50 generic pills for only $99. Order now and call the number on your screen. Have your credit card ready.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. Once again, as a reminder, check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. You'll find a lot of great articles, a lot of terrific information, as well as rebroadcasts of our TV show and our radio show. And Sharron, you know, from time to time, I'd like to bring on our listeners to see what they're talking about. And we have Bella with us, and she's very concerned about reopening America, getting back to work, and also taking our rights back. Bella, thank you for joining us on Conservative Commandos.
Thanks, Rick. Great to be back on with you.
So what's going on out in your neck of the woods? Are you out of work? Are people out there at work? Or your life going along as usual? Or what's happening?
So roughly about 5-6 weeks ago, when this was first announced, the stay at home, you know, at first I took it very seriously and I was very concerned. And then about a week into it, when I really started watching how fixated mainstream media and watching the numbers and analyzing everything, I understand there is a virus. Mm-hmm. However, my biggest concern is that they are not, you know, when you listen to how many deaths, like all deaths are now being attributed to COVID, and the fact that we have a governor that is a Democratic governor.
What state are you in? Bella,
I'm in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, who's your governor?
Tim Walz.
Tim Walz, Democrat. Okay. Has he shut down the entire state? Has he put the state under lockdown?
We're not under lockdown. We're stay at home. You are not, unless you're an essential worker, you're basically not supposed to be out. And there's no real end in sight because he is demanding that he's testing 40-some thousand people a day before he'll reopen it up.
Has he started testing?
Yes, so far we have 2,000 some cases confirmed, 190 deaths, and we are 7 million, 7 million in this state. But my biggest fear is they have done this once. They will do it again.
Oh, I agree with you, Bella, and I've said this before, that these governors, these mayors, these politicians, they're seeing what power that they have. And, the rights that they're taking away from us, don't expect to get them back just as soon as they say everything's okay again. It's like one of the founding fathers say, be careful of giving up your freedom for a little bit of security. And I think that's what's happening. What say you, Sharron Engel?
Well, I agree with Bill, and I think from the very beginning of this thing, when my mayor mandated that businesses close, and she called them non-essential businesses, of course, I agree with Bill. There's nothing that's non-essential in our culture, really, as far as a job. If you've got a job, it's essential to you and your family, and we're finding that out as the economy gets waylaid. And I'm also in agreement with Bill. I have a Democrat governor. He was very quick to take away my rights, but he's very slow to restore them.
Well, I find it peculiar. You have a Democrat governor, Bella, so does Sharron, so does Rick, how these Democrat governors also pick and choose the winners and losers. For instance, in New Jersey, well, the liquor stores can stay open, and the marijuana dispensaries can stay open, and Planned Parenthood could stay open, but those stinky little things called churches, we got to close them. Local hardware stores, my gosh, there might be a mass party happening there, so we got to close the local hardware stores, but we'll let the big box stores open. Hey, Bella, are your local stores open or shut, like your hardware store, your dry cleaners? Are they open or closed out there?
I'm not sure about the dry cleaners. I do know our hardware store is open. I completely agree everything that you just said. However, I was listening to another radio show earlier today that's talking about the herd.
Cheating on me. How dare you?
Oops. But you're still my first and only love, Rick. Okay. So I was listening earlier, and there's the herd mentality where they're showing evidence that this lockdown is not so safe for everybody, and letting the virus spread so that people build up immunity to it. I mean, when H1N1 came out, I don't even remember hearing about it, and it wiped out
because there was a Democrat in the White House. Bella, at that time there was a Democrat at the White House. Why destroy the economy?
I believe that this has become very politically weaponized because they went from impeachment to the virus. And when your media runs 24/7, just like they did with impeachment, this is very politically backed.
I agree with you. I agree with that. It is very politically backed. Bella, if this would have happened last year or if it had happened next year, I really don't think there would be any shutdown. I've said it before, and I'm saying it again. I think this was all to destroy the economy, to destroy Donald Trump, to get him out of Washington, to let the Democrats take control of everything.
Well, it's not going to destroy Trump. Our country woke up a long time ago. That's why we elected Donald J. Trump. But what is the true economic impact? There's two schools of thought. There's some that believe a deep, deep recession is right around the corner. There's the other school of thought that once things open up, it's going to explode because people have been sitting around not spending money and they need to get out and live again. And then there's also the school of thought that people think that we will be forever changed. We're always going to social distance.
I'm there. I think we are forever changed. I think that we have put ourselves into a self-induced depression. We haven't had this many people out of work since the Great Depression of 1929. The Great Depression of 1929 did not end until 1945, after we had a world war to get our economy back going again. it may be 2 decades before people are going to lose their jobs permanently. A lot of businesses are not going to make it through this. Hey, Bella, we've got to run and we got to go, but we want to thank you so much for joining us here on Conservative Commandos. We want you to take care. God bless and be safe and well out there, all right?
Thanks, Rick.
You're quite welcome.
Have a great day.
And you are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. We will be back right after this break with another listener.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And once again, we want to welcome you back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. I want to give a shout out to folks who are listening to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder in Colorado, Springs, Milwaukee and Long Beach, California, also Arlington, Virginia, Washington, D.C., as well as seen on the AUN television network. And Sharron, we're doing something I like to do from time to time. We're bringing some of our listeners on to express their views and opinions. And our next person is Dan, and he wants to talk about these faulty models that they're using for this coronavirus. Dan, welcome to the Conservative Commandos.
Honored to be on again. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you joining us. Well, Dan, faulty models, is it garbage in, garbage out, or are they skewing the results, or what do you think's going on?
I just think it's absolutely skewed. I mean, you know, God forbid we question the numbers. As I always say, one death is too many, but at the same time, don't insult our intelligence. I mean, is it wrong to question when we've had about 10,000 different projections, how we go from millions to hundreds of thousands to 60,000 to whatever it will be? The reports from even the liberal media saying about people dying in New York that were never tested for COVID. This is political. This is done intentionally. They're trying to drive up numbers And to quote, never let a good crisis go to waste. And,
absolutely.
People got to wake up and realize it's blatant. We're not bad for questioning things. Everybody wants
yes, we are.
everybody
Dan, I questioned this. I put a Facebook post on there that I think it's time to reopen America. Maybe to get to the ear of the politicians, we either have to, number one, stop paying taxes, or B, go on a national strike. So I put that up on Facebook. I was called white trash.
Well, me too.
I was called white trash because I didn't care about people. I do care about people. I care about the millions and millions that have been thrown out of work. And Dan, Sharron, do you know the greatest cause for divorce? Money, finances is the greatest cause of divorce. So here we are, we're kicking, 15%, 20% of our population is out of work now? How many divorces do you think are going to come out of this? Domestic violence, abuse. How many people do you think are going to turn to crime? How many people are going to be victims of that crime? I think it's going to be far more than the number of people that are going to get this virus.
Rick and Sharron, I'm sorry, but I said this on Facebook too, and I got attacked. The left and certain rhinos claim to care so much about mental health. Well, how come nobody cares about the depression and the mental health of the tens of millions of people that are the true victims of this? While we protect the tens of thousands, we don't care about the tens of millions that are suffering because of this tyrannical crap. It's wrong. It's just wrong. They're hypocrites, and it's blatant. And here in Pennsylvania, reopen the country May 1st. But amazingly, the swing states and the Democrat states, we're not going to listen. We're going to open up later. Of course you are. We already got to have write-in primaries. That's what they want.
Dan, you're in Pennsylvania. I, from what I understand, they had a big rally in Harrisburg demanding that old Tom Wolf open up the state. Were you there?
Like his businesses. I was.
Tell us about it.
It was great. I mean, it was genuinely a grassroots gathering. I mean, people showed up. There was well over 1,000, 2,000 people, I'd say, in that range. The media, of course, reports a couple hundred. But it was a great gathering of a lot of people of different political persuasion as well, but all united under one thing about reopening America. So, of course, the media has to attack that because we can't have people united. We have to have constant division. But it was an awesome display. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, right, Sharron?
I was gonna ask. This is so reminiscent of what happened with the Tea Party, and I was going to ask you, Dan, did you keep your social distance? That when the crowd of 2,000 gets together, how did they do that and remain 6 feet apart? What I would have thought that would be where the attack came from.
Oh, it definitely did. We got the people from Walmart to tell us how to stand, where to walk, and what's allowed and what's not allowed. So no, I kept the
I don't know. The real professionals of social distancing is Home Depot.
That's right. That's right. So we were rebels. Okay, we broke the. Like they tell me, I got to wear a mask now when I go into a store at the suggestion and request of the governor. I said, "Where's that in the law?" Well, it's his request. I'm like, I request him to resign and close his businesses while everybody else's is closed. And, I don't get what I want, so neither do you.
I would ask the question, where is that mask that I'm supposed to wear? Because honestly, it's not on the store shelves. So, I have to get out and make my own mask or wear my sweater over my face. What are we talking about here?
It's pathetic. The whole thing is pathetic. So now I guess we could wear a full face mask and go into banks and go into stores, right? Because that makes perfect sense. Why not, right?
Why not? I feel like a criminal every time I go into the Walmart wearing a mask, and I'm wondering how many people are going to use this mask as an excuse, a disguise to rob the store. I don't know. Hey, you mentioned your governor, Tom Wolf. He was in the cabinet business. I wonder if he's shut down.
No, he's been open the entire time.
He has. Tom Wolf's.
That is.
Come on, Dan. Are you sure about that? We don't want to spread
100%.
false fake news here. So Tom Wolf's business, his cabinet making business, has been open all this time.
Deemed essential. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that even came from the Philadelphia Inquirer, which we know is no friend of real news and very good friends of the left, but even they went against their dictator-in-chief. And they put it out there that, yes, it's fact-checked and it is correct, as we all knew.
Darn.
Disgusting.
Dan, Sharron, what do you think about that? You know, here you've got the governor of Pennsylvania shutting down businesses, probably ruining businesses. A lot of these businesses will never, ever open again. But he has a cabinet-making business. Now, you've been in the state legislature out there in Nevada. What do you make of this? Sharron Angle, the governor can keep his business open, shutting down everybody else.
Well, it's that way. On that side, it's picking winners and losers, as you've always said. That's how they like to do it. What's good for you is not necessarily good for me. And it's as Dan was saying, they're not only picking winners and losers, but they're skewing the numbers. We had our guest on, Dr. Paul Brown, last week talking about how every death now is attributed to COVID-19. That's how can they do that, Dan? All of this, as you said, we're starting to realize that there's just a lot of lying going on. How are we going to combat this? I want to know, you got your group together. We went down to the Capitol. We protested. What's the next step?
Quite honestly, as somebody who, like yourself, like everybody here, has been an activist for years, and I always believe talk is cheap, action sends messages. And the louder, and I said, May 1st, we're going there again. We're going to have another rally because that's when America is going to reopen. Then we're going to call them out yet again. And that's the thing. Being diligent, being forceful, being loud, but keeping it peaceful. But the more we speak up and the more we get out and do something about it and stand up in the streets, they know that we're on to their game, and it becomes harder for them to operate. They're still going to try their best, but it's all we can do. And we have heroes like State Rep Darryl Metcalf, who's been going to an empty Capitol building every day saying, I'm here to work, where are you? It's just people like that speaking up for us, and we need to... Go ahead.
Dan, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we're coming up on a hard break. Dan, I want to thank you for joining us here today. And Dan, keep me posted. Keep me posted what's going on with old Tom Wolf, the werewolf of Pennsylvania. Whenever you see anything about his business being open when everybody else is shut down, let me know, will you please?
Definitely will. And I love you both. You're great. Thank you.
Take care. God bless. And this is the Conservative Commandos Radio Show with Sharron Angle and yours truly, Rick Trader. Don't go away. Sharron and I will be back with more right after this break.
Mom, thank God you're going to be okay.
So relieved. But you both should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy with Senior Care USA.
Is Senior Care USA the life insurance policy that helps loved ones pay for funeral expenses and other debts? Bill and I called to get more information.
Yes, and there's an immediate payout of up to $50,000.
If you're over 50, call Senior Care USA now to learn more about final expense insurance plans.
There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free, and there was no pressure.
I found out that policies start for as little as 35 cents a day. Rates will never increase and coverage won't decrease.
I'm going to call today.
Ask about the free prescription discount card. Oh, I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call 1-800-822-7419. That's 1-800-822-7419.
But is it? It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right. We will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call 1-877-461-5033.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing one-day bath and shower remodeling. The complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day. And for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. So for as little as $199 a month, you can finally have the bathroom of your dreams. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
Well, Sharron, that just about wraps it up for today. I want to thank you for sitting in as my co-host. And Sharron, when you're not here on Conservative Commandos with George or Melissa or Nasser or myself, how can people follow you?
Very simply, it's SharonAngle.com, SharonAngle.com. I want to thank our guests today, Rick. They make our show. And of course, this was a special show today. We had Tom Basile on talking to us about how the Dems are going to take advantage of this pandemic. We had Mark Walters on talking about the lawsuit for the Second Amendment, our individual Second Amendment rights. And finally, we had, as our guests, our listeners. We had Ann and Bella and Dan just telling us what their concerns were. Very fun show.
Yep. But for right now, we're out of time. We got to run and we got to go. Take care. God bless you. Stay well out there. And we'll see you tomorrow on TV and on radio.